Welcome, welcome, welcome to MJTV, not HGTV, because we tell it like it really is. Thank you so much for coming. This is Mary Jo, eXp Realty, and today we're going to talk about 15 ways homes are changing because of technology. So, what's funny is that, well, we'll talk about that in a minute, but first, I'm going to ask you, could you sign up below? Then I can keep in touch with you, let you know what's coming, keep you up on news. And there is a lot of news. But again, thanks for coming anyway. So, 15 ways your home is going to change. We have a graphic. This home of the future was posted by Green Builder a year ago. And you know what's crazy? There are a bunch of things on there that are already old news. So things are changing very, very rapidly. So let's dig in right away and talk about homes of the future. Let's start from the ground up. Let's talk about your basement. Basements have changed from the old blocks that your grandparents used, to now they are poured foundations, and they are quickly evolving into ICFs. ICF is insulated concrete form. So you can see here what that they're laid out like Legos, and it's two slabs of foam. They're about 47 inches long, held together with some steel clips, laid out like Legos in layers. And then when they get high enough, either underground or above ground, they put in rebar and pour in the cement. It cures right within the form. So then it is insulated both inside and out, has rebar there, and you have practically an indestructible home. The insulation is also a buffer against any movement, and it completely seals the basement. So let's talk about your basement floor. It's cold. Anybody ever go down there barefoot? You know your basement's cold, and it's cold all the time. And that's because 4 or 5 feet below the earth's surface is always 40 to 50 degrees. So it sucks heat out of your basement all winter long. Yes, it keeps it cool in the summer, but all winter it's pulling heat out. Well, what if you laid like a 10 to 13 inch layer of foam to protect it? Why didn't somebody think of this before? So the homes that are net zero ready are frequently using an underlayment of foam before they pour the foundation to protect the basement floor. So what it does, number one, it keeps moisture out. It keeps the cold out, but also it helps in the constant shift that Mother Nature makes season to season. So you'll find a huge difference in the heating and cooling if you have that layer underneath. We talk about in non-induction, but radiant heat in the floor, but you don't even need it if you have a foam based underneath it to protect it from Mother Nature. Who knew? So moving on. Mudroom and transition spaces are becoming the norm. And we'll see most people come in the back door or through the garage anyway. So the mudroom has become like a boot bench and a place to store, maybe even a mini shower, a little tub to wash the dog. As people come in the back door, they have groceries, they have dirty kids, they have things to handle. So it really makes sense to have a space and to unload the groceries, the wet boots, and the dirty dogs. Grandma's house had a little half bath in the back of the house, and sometimes with the shower head. It was mostly dirty kids that time, but every now and then it was a dirty dog. So it's all coming back, and it absolutely makes sense. We have indoor-outdoor living is number 3. It's become huge, especially since the pandemic, when we're in our house so much more. People just want to break out in the summer. They want to spend as much time outdoors as they can. So the trend is indoor-outdoor. There are more covered spaces outdoors towards in, and sometimes they'll have sealed or folding windows, folding doors. You can see on here this beautiful, beautiful porch. It's a huge porch, retractable screens. So they electronically lift and lower. Sometimes they have outdoor kitchens. They're fire pits outdoors, not in the porch, to give you more time outdoors. And our houses always feel bigger when we can walk in and out. That's either main floor or lower level. Number 4, this is a new one, sculleries. Do you remember scullery sounds Victoriana? Well, it was. Houses in the early 1900s had a prep area, had a prep porch where food was prepared outside the kitchen. So, since we're using all this open design, do you want everybody watching you with the pots and the pans and everything that you're doing being seen? With this open plan, yes, you're faced with a mess. So this is a scullery. It is a space behind the main kitchen where you can prep food, hold it until it's ready to serve. You can pile up the dishes. Some even have a second dishwasher in the scullery area. So the actual kitchen in front of it is very, very modern. This is a new butler's pantry. And oh my gosh, they were so common in the early 1900s. Again, a place for storage, for dishes, linens. You can see here in the corner that they do have a prep area that could be a little dishwasher or places to wash. So it's becoming very, very popular, and especially for big families, because there's no way to control big families, kids in and out, cups, plates, whatever is going on. But you don't want everybody to see that in the main kitchen. So sculleries, second kitchens, and butler's pantries are becoming really a wanted and needed feature of all new homes. Refrigerators, number 5, smart refrigerators. Oh my gosh, this is changing. Remember, we used to have one refrigerator? Well, then they expanded into the double wide refrigerator, which is two butted together, and they're almost like 72 inches. That's a lot of refrigerator, but people have more than one. They'll have wine cellars. Sometimes they'll have an outdoor refrigerator. They'll have a second refrigerator in the basement. There's some still keep one for hunting in the garage. All of that draws a lot of energy. But refrigerators are getting even smarter. There are even refrigerators that can be your indoor garden. They have little grow areas like you see in this. This happens to be a Samsung, so it has constant light and it is temperature controlled, so you can grow your sprouts, your basil, your herbs, and basic salads in the refrigerator all the time. And that gives you your indoor grow garden 24/7, 12 months a year. So whenever you're hungry, you just reach in and pick a few. They're becoming not common yet, but there are a couple of makers of those, but they are becoming more common, and they will be as people turn to more fresh food. Okay, number 6. This is a big one. All electric homes and the demise of fossil fuels. I know some people go, no, I don't want to hear it. It's coming. There has been a flurry of news about all electric everything recently. And I've done interview with Yard Homes in Minnesota and the first container home in Minneapolis and the passive home in Afton. They're all electric. A lot of the new construction is all electric. And what you mean by that is cooking, heating. Heating is with a heat pump. So it's a new world. Electric heating now is so much more efficient than it used to be. It's the old resistant cords used just a ton of electricity, but the new ones are way less. But that does mean no gas at all. Heat pumps are used for both heating and air conditioning because it moves air, it doesn't push it up, and you also have, small ducts. Super tight insulation. I'm seeing Yard Homes, who is the tiny homes. They had 10 inches of insulation under the roof. Can you imagine what that does? And there are no gaps that you have to fill. It's totally sealed. They also use induction cooking, which boils water in seconds instead of minutes. So anybody who's tried induction cooking becomes a fan pretty quick. All you need is a pan that has some magnetic force to it. So if you take a refrigerator magnet, sticks to your pan, you've already got induction cooking pans. If it doesn't, you could find them, but they're not very expensive. Solar. Yup. We hear about solar, but solar's not going away. It has been on people's minds really since the early 1970s. The all-electric home of the future will have solar panels. Right now, we're calling them net zero ready because they are using the grid. They're not using solar. So to be attached to the grid and have a wall battery that would hold the energy in case of a blackout. Solar will run your home. all those refrigerators, wine cooler stoves, ovens, demand water heaters, and the heat pump. Did you know IKEA is selling solar panels in Europe? They've been selling to the UK since 2013. This is news to Americans. We never heard about this. And then they expanded to another 10 countries. So now they're going to be selling in Sweden to the Swedish market. They've already bought, they're buying into energy, the energy grid, and are selling that back without an uptick cost to their fellow Swedes. So they're passing those savings on, not making any profit on that, and they believe the people deserve the best and the most affordable energy that they can offer. Europe has pledged to go carbon neutral by 2045. The Germans have long been climate change advocate, and the goal is to be the whole continent carbon neutral by 2045. You know what? That's 24 years from now. That's not really very far away. So if you think it's an illusion or it's not going to happen, it's going to happen. We do not have a plan here in the US because we are fossil fuel dependent, but it's coming. It may be a little slower here, but it will be coming. Your next car, number 8, will probably be an electric vehicle. Now, right now, Tesla has 66% of the market, but most automakers are committed to being all electric by 2035. Ford is advertising its Mustang, electric Mustang, and they're very powerful ads. And the most popular truck can also act as a generator. Listen to this. This graphic, Ford is using this as part of their advertising. This graphic shows the owners of the F-150 Lightning truck. You can charge it at home with a charger, which is connected to your electric panel. And then if the electricity, if the grid goes down, you can use the car battery as an electric generator for up to 3 days. Wow. Would this have made a big difference in Texas last year? Anywhere where the grid goes down, or you have people who drive a lot of trucks, this is a huge deal. You can use your car as a generator. Tesla hasn't stepped up that much. Congratulations, Ford. You've made a giant leap for mankind. So it's not in the future. It's here right now. You might not be aware of it yet, but you will be very, very soon. The next generation of electric cars is also going to be able to go 500 miles to a charge. The challenge right now is a lot of them are 200 miles. So you do have to stop and recharge. The supercharge stations recharge in about half an hour. The ones you have at home maybe take 4 hours, and they will get better as well. So Amazon is also investing in millions and millions of dollars in self-driving delivery trucks for curbside pickup. It's already been tested that autonomous trucks can go California to New York without a driver. They're all computerized and they say they've even gone through snow. My concern with self-driving cars is what happens if there's a snowstorm. Okay, it works where you've got mild climate, but what if you're in really harsh climate? And I know they're not oblivious to this. We're not quite there yet. My daughter has a Tesla, actually, and it can self-drive in normal traffic. But if traffic gets heavy or crazy, it gives her a signal, take the wheel. So we have self-driving cars to look forward. Look at what that would do for you and your kids. You could say, go to soccer. And the other big thing about the self-driving cars and the electric cars, right now it costs us about $1 per mile. This can drive down the cost per mile to 10 cents. So when the economy changes that dramatically, that is a major shift. And let's talk about high-tech windows. Well, all new windows are high-tech, even though you can't see it. The highest performing windows we have now are tripled pane, and there's an argon gas between each of those panels to make sure that there's absolutely no cold or even hot air leakage. So besides that, there are films that are built for either the northern or the southern climate. Within the structure of the window, there is an invisible film in the north that will allow low level sun rays and the warmth to seep in for energy gain. In the south, those films are reversed. They will push the heat outside to avoid energy gain. So in the north, we want big windows on the south and the west side where we get the most sun. In the north, or in the south, they will want them on the north and the east side where you get less energy gain. So the position of the windows is really important. As you can see, if you have a big southern window, you've got big, beautiful light coming in at all the time. And as urban and suburban areas continue to grow, lots are shrinking and we're living closer together, and there's more traffic. Now, electric vehicles are much quieter than gas vehicles, but they still make a little noise. So there are noise abatement films. Years ago in the Twin Cities, we had a zone from the airport where they installed new windows with film that abates noise. So if you're living near something that makes a lot of noise, high traffic or an airport or major congestion, there are windows with a noise abatement film. And yes, an older home can retrofit with windows with that noise abatement film. Number 11, home gyms, climbing wall, virtual golf. For anyone living, working, playing, and at home with kids, and we know that they are literally climbing the walls. Home gyms, climbing walls, sport courts are becoming more and more common. Some have an attached space for basketball, racquetball, like a hockey rink has a smooth floor. It's not ice, but you can practice on it. And simulated golf. I can think of a lot of men who would like to have simulated golf at home, especially if they don't want to go out in the winter months. They can go to Top Golf, but they can also have simulated golf right at home. Water filtration and conservation is going to be huge in our future. We're seeing that climate change is real, that it's impacting all of us. This summer was a shock to Minnesotans. So it makes us rethink how we are using and protecting our clean water. When I was a kid, and I know that was 2,000 years ago, we were fully aware in an agricultural state that there was not an infinity of anything. We had to conserve energy, water, soil to make it work for us in the future. Drought, wildfires, and low water levels on lakes and rivers are making us rethink everything that we are doing. Even our front lawns, are they the ultimate luxury because they use so much water? Can we reuse gray water? Can we find alternatives to green grass to make our lawns look attractive? Maybe we can consider more natural grasses and native plants that require less water than the rose bushes and the peonies. I lived in New York through one of the longest droughts that the city had ever experienced. And Mayor Ed Koch came up with 10 ways that we could save water. Of course, there was the usual: turn the faucet off while you're brushing your teeth, run the disher once a day and only when it's full. But the all-time favorite was take a shower with a friend. Okay, let's get creative and let's conserve more water. Number 13, remote medical assistance, telemedicine. The pandemic made this a reality. It was on everybody's charts that they wanted to go there, but the pandemic and quarantine just exploded in the medical field this year. I think they were serving up to like 1,000 patients a day in clinics because they have the capacity to, it's basically like a Zoom call, visit a doctor. They've become routine, and we can do that even online. I'm seeing veterinary offices are offering telepet medicine online as well. This past year during the pandemic, veterinarians didn't want you to come in with your pet. They wanted you to drop it at the door, leave it with them, and come pick it up. Well, I have a rescue cat, and he was brand new in my house, and I wanted to see if it was chipped and he was okay. This did not go over well with him. He was totally traumatized by somebody poking and moving around with nobody he knew. I mean, he hid for 3 days. I'm all for telemedicine and televet medicine as well. Number 14, Google icons. Google will be running our house, and we'll have Wi-Fi everywhere. We know it's coming. We expect it to be there. And it's really annoying, even some places in South Minneapolis where you don't have Wi-Fi. Underground cables will help, and they will make it just about everywhere. And 15, no surprise, your phone runs your life. I mean, if you think it runs your life now for social media, lists, communications, the future makes it your hand computer. So right this minute, you can turn the lights off and on with a dimmer. You can control electric blinds to go up and down. You can open the garage door, even if you're a couple blocks away. You can audit the food in your fridge. The fridge will make a list of what's missing, and you can order it from Whole Foods via Amazon online. You can turn up the heat or the air conditioner if you have a smart thermostat. I had a client whose husband was in Hungary and he was controlling the heat. She texted him and said, "I'm cold, turn it up." Within 15 minutes, he turned it up. So you can also time your cooking dinner. You can set it so you can automatically set the temperature, when you want it to go off, when you want it to go on. You're at the office, you come home, dinner's hot and steaming. So those are 15 ways that your home is going to change, not in the very far future. I mean, it's like the Jetsons moved in and they brought all this technology with us, and it makes our lives so much better. So thank you so much for watching. Again, please sign in below. I'd love to be in touch with you to let you know what's coming, and it's coming very quickly. So again, thanks much. Sign in below, and I'll see you next week.